Hello guys, welcome to this new video. So the Invincible Season 3 has started releasing. By the way, as a matter of fact, in the time when I'm recording this, only 4 episodes have came out, which means that I haven't finished the entirety of the Season 3, but I want to tap into something which, it shouldn't really matter if I watch the whole Season 3 or not. And the problem I want to talk about is that I have a big issue with Mark holding back. I feel like he is the only character so far we have seen in a TV series that's holding back. Like, I can't recall any other character which would be holding back. Only Mark does it for some reason. Spoiler alert, if you read the comics or if you know it, Mark has morals at the beginning of the comics, but later, he becomes really strict with his, let's say, punches. In other words, he doesn't care about killing anymore. But here in the TV series, we are on the mere beginning of the comics. I don't really want to talk about the morals because I don't have problem with people having, or superheroes having issue with killing, because that's just a moral compass. You can't change it. You can't argue with that. But there's a huge difference between having to hold back and not killing anybody. Because I feel like Mark has caused himself a lot of problems throughout the first 2 seasons and the first half of the season 3. I mean, the fact that he held it back in lots of fights. First things first, I would like to point out that I really want to talk about the first half of the season 3 because they have shown us that Mark has been training. His strength, speed, durability, and endurance, they have all increased. So he has no reasons to lose his fights now. Because granted, even though he's really strong in the first season and the second season, he is not really, trained, so I can excuse that. But I really want to talk about the first fight which he and Rex had, where those twins were stealing the Constitution. Due to the fact that he was holding back, the Constitution was stealed, and also Rex almost got killed. By the way, I want to point out that Rex was a liability in that fight. Like, why the hell is he even in the Guardians of the Globe? He literally his powers are literally that ass useless, I have to say. You can hate me for that, but try to provide me some good arguments that Rex is a good member of the team. He's not even that intelligent. If he were to be intelligent and if he were to have lots of battle IQ and experiences, I could probably excuse that, but other than that, he's pretty much useless. But I don't want to digress, and let me return to the Mark holding back. So, as I already stated, there's a huge difference between holding back and killing somebody. So, remember that fight which Mark had in Season 2 with Darkwing? After all that ramble that he had with Darkwing, he literally took him out with one chop. Growing up, I was watching this show called Ultimate Spider-Man, and I feel like literally in the first episode of that series, Nick Fury told Spider-Man that he could have done better when it comes to effectivity. He told him that Captain America would done such a better job with no casualties, with no collateral damage, and that's the thing I want to be talking about. The fact that Mark is holding back, he's actually causing much more, financial trouble, which, we're in a fictive universe, it doesn't really matter, but I have a problem with that because buildings are not rebuilt like nothing. And second of all, he's putting lives of others in danger. Like, imagine if we were to just do the same thing to those twins as he did to the Darkwing. Like, everything could have gone smoothly and he didn't even have to kill them. He could have just stunned them with a chop. And, some of you may say not every villain is easily defeated by a chop, and yeah, I get it. But, second of all, Mark is a speedster. He can literally speed blitz anyone. Like, when it comes to maulers, like, Mark is incredibly more stronger than Mauler twins, which means, and he's literally speedster, so it means, like, if he wanted to be effective and if he doesn't want to kill them, why doesn't he just speed blitz them, grab one of them by their ankle or something and throw them away so they will not cause any further damage or any harm or anything else? Like they wouldn't be a threat, and then they can deal with them later. But no, he chooses always to, talk with them even though he knows that they are maulers who did really bad things. I do not sympathize with Oliver. Like literally, if you don't want to kill them, you don't need to kill them, but just don't hold back so they cause more damage. I feel like at times that Mark wants to practice this no-talk jutsu, but he's pretty bad at talking. I mean, he's a good guy, he's got a good heart, but he tends to mess up a lot of times. And after all his dialogues, he always ends up fighting, so it doesn't really matter. I have to say, and I'm convinced, that it was only his mistake that he was hit by that Nerf gun by Maulers. Like, literally, that was his mistake. He could have dodged that. He is a speedster. I also don't really want to tap into the Cecil versus Mark, which one was right, which one was wrong, because maybe I'm gonna make another video on this. I feel like overall, Cecil was in the right, but he did some couple of bad decisions. Like, he could have done better. Mark is just a teen. I mean, that argument can be applied to everything. He's just a teen, but you can't excuse someone's action just for their ages. Like, you can't be doing that. And also the fact that Mark is a speedster, he could have done a better job when it comes to dark seismic in the underground. Like, why was he dealing with that creatures in a normal motion? Why wasn't he in a super speed? And also he could have just speed blitzed the dark seismic himself. And by the way, if I say speed blitz, I don't mean just to punch his jaw away so he kills him. No, I mean do the chop to him like he did to the Darkwing. Or grab him by the ankle and fly away so he can't communicate with that creatures. Like, he could have done a better job. Like, don't waste time doing things, because then the collateral damage is done and then it's gonna be so bad. But other than that, just to be positive, I have to say the season so far has been incredible. Actually, as a matter of fact, I like it much better than season 2. I still have to say the season 1 is a peak of everything, and I don't feel like the season 1 is gonna be topped ever. Maybe that's due to the fact that it was something new. It's really hard to surprise a fan if they know what they should expect. But the season 1 was peak, I have to say, just to say something positive. But yeah, overall I like it, but I don't really like the Mark's idea of holding back, because you can hold your punches back. You don't have to punch so hard, but that doesn't mean you should not punch, right? Like that doesn't mean that you should be playing with your opponent, like end the fight as soon as possible, and you don't need to be lethal in any way. That's the overall message I wanted to talk about. But if you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments below. And I feel like that's gonna be it for this video. So have a nice rest of the day, and bye bye.